Hello and welcome back to the Crusades of the Purple Knight. This is episode 24 and we are coming to you live from the Demonweb. We're just in front of the portal to the domain of Lord Grulamith, and that's unfortunate because this is one I've been known to get lost in on occasion. This is the first of the Eveningstar 3 quests, which I said we were going to do. For anybody who's interested, I've put like a walkthrough stroke guide to the Eveningstar 3 chain in the guide section here. 24 was quite, I keep using this kind of a big deal for us, don't I? The feat selection was quite engaging, just depending on what you wanted to emphasize, I guess. We could have gone with the healing side of things, the Master of Death. We could have gone with greater two-handed fighting for more melee power, more damage, more strike through chance, big fit for our build, and I think more hit points as well, because don't the hit points scale up with all the specialized fighting feats like single weapon fighting, improved single weapon, greater single, all that kind of stuff? I think they do. So we've got all the two-handed line, or we had it all apart from the greater two-handed, so that was a big one on the wish list. Embolden spell for another 2 on spell DCs. We're making extensive use of both evocation and enchantment. Enchantment would be the holds, and the evocation are most of our offensive spells. And the burst of glacial wrath, which is evocation, which would have given us another option for crowd control against stuff that's not susceptible to our other spells, namely undead and plants and that kind of stuff. In the end, I didn't go for the healing one. I went for attack rather than defense, because we've just been going through on Reaper 1, not steamrolling the content, but doing well enough that healing or lack of healing hasn't been that much of a problem. So I went with the greater two-handed fighting, more strike through chance, more melee power, and more of our intelligence modifier to damage. Our intelligence plus 23 now, and if we can see on the feats here, so we've got an extra 25% of the intelligence to base damage from the perfect fighting, and I think we've got another 25% there, so 50% in all more. So the way I read that, maybe this is now plus something like 30 plus 34, 35, something like that, instead of the 23 in terms of the damage. So that's not bad. Quests done up to this point since last time. As mentioned, Whiz King and Offer of Blood in the Sands. I stopped and did the Catacombs chain in the marketplace. That's quite a quick little chain, and it's damn decent XP as well. That on its own took us up to 24. We're kind of well, more or less halfway through 24, 2 pips towards 25 now. We've also done the Druids chain, level 23 chain in Eveningstar. That Catacombs chain is a 23, and the Sands one's a 22, I think. And this Eveningstar 3 in the Demonweb is 23. So we're sticking with the content at level. Basically, if you run everything on Reaper 1 or on Elite, and you just keep going with that, not missing out too much of the epic content, my experience is that you'll reach the cap without ever having to repeat things if you own most of the epic content. which I'm lucky enough to do now. So this trial by fury is basically an exercise in trying to find your way to the end, because it's quite easy to get lost in here. Following the torches and the yellow pathways is definitely one way to try and proceed.
A huge bestial form.
Another way to fail is to fail to talk to this fella at the start, which I have done on more than one occasion.
Mortals here in my domain.
So turn immediately right, don't we?
Speak with you.
And down there. Okay. Carnage Reaper coming. Can we target him, please? Can we target him? Now. Found that iceberg thing works quite well on the wisps in the Druids chain. Ooh, let's not go in there. Now this is a bit of a fiddly bit, probably because I'm not doing it right. Yeah, I think there are 2 points at which you have to turn right immediately, and I think it's the 2 near the start there. Now this chap down there, the Choaz, not the Carnage Reaper, you have to face him twice in quick succession. That's the first one, and then very shortly afterwards he seems to have become reincarnated, and you get to face him again for your troubles. Which way do we go now? Is it across the bridge? No. This way. I know I should be dispelling the spell wards for extra things. I even have the dispel magic on the bar, but I just... My excuse is my back's giving me some jip today, so breaking boxes and doing spell wards and things, just not down for that. Oh, they were either immune or resisted somehow, the holds. Did they have spell resistance or something, I wonder? We'll try something else. We'll try the Greater Shout on them next time, see if that has more luck. Try and remember to keep the buffs going. Right, these green portals you need to complete either the Trial of Wits or the Trial of Might to get through. I prefer the Might, the fight one. I think this is where Choaz comes back eventually, isn't it? Where are they all? Oh, there we go. I think we've got copious amounts of lag here.
You have defeated Choaz,
Okay.
the Druid Guardian.
Don't forget to pick up the jewel. Oh, don't tell me we're full with inventory. Stoneheart. I don't think that's going to do too well for us in the next lives, is it? We can feed that Yeah, we've spent so long in this life, we're absolutely chock full of these XP stones. So I'll at least get to level 2, I should have thought, next time around. Come on, find something to just reject. That. And we just don't pick up anything unless it's absolutely essential. We'll take that. Can we reject one more thing to make a space? So, oh, we can just fill up the bag with these commendations, can't we? That'll do. Right. Well prepared as ever. I think some of these, maybe even all of them, you can bypass if you know the quick ways around. I've seen people do this in the YouTubes very quickly. But I'm not well enough versed in the shortcuts and all that. Try not to fall off the sides. It won't kill you, but it'll probably teleport you back to the start, and that's not what you want. Sweep of despair. We go up here. I think there's another. Oh, lag.
Your corpses will make nice meals for my
There's another
spiders,
challenge here
or
we have to do.
playthings for the dratches.
Oh, hello. Oh, nice. Nope, didn't get it. I thought for a second we'd instant killed him. I think the portal thing is up here, is it? Yeah. Finally somebody died to one of my instant kills. I think another reason I've not tried to up the difficulty, one of you was talking about, you know, if you can do Reaper 1, you can do Reaper 2. I totally get that, but especially with the lack of the lack of self-healing. I should say the lack of a really boosty, spiky self-heal, which leaves us vulnerable to the nasty spike damage you can get the further up the Reaper curve you go in terms of difficulty. I prefer to keep it on 1 and just make steady progress. If you wanted another excuse for my wimping out on that, the gear is hardly amazing that you've got to rely on, most of it still being heroic. But I'm quite happy with the way he's going. Again.
Feeble as you look, mortals. Come find me, and I'll give you your reward.
The Demon Lord Grudlemith surveys his domain from his
two
perch
sides
up on
here.
high.
You only really need to kill one. I definitely don't want to get mixed up with the 2 lots coming at me at once. Can we just try and persuade that lot to come to us, I wonder? possibly. Ooh, that's not good. Nice.
Guardian of Wisdom,
Now can we... oh no, no, it's not going to let us, is it? I was hoping to sort of sneak around the side. My sentient gems complaining vehemently. Okay.
Guardian of Strength, Maljuth. The north path is clear.
Yeah, you only really need to kill one to get through there, but I always seem to end up facing the two of them. Can we get rid of another thing out of here, perhaps? Anything? That'll do. Okay, so where do I usually go? Is it this way? Yeah.
At the top of a web strand lies some kind of button or switch.
Now I'm not sure how we're going to fare toe-to-toe with this thing. I have a suspicion not very well. Maybe I was wrong. It's not going so bad, is it? Yeah, I'll take that.
You made it past my guardians? I should be grateful that you rid me of those feeble weaklings. Now to end our trial. This is the part where I rip you limb from limb.
Not this time, Grulamith. And there's just a sneaky bit at the end of this one, isn't there? There's like an orb at the end of all three of these Eveningstar 3 quests, and this one is just squiddled away under in this little section here. I think that's it. I'll take those because we always come in handy.
At
There we
long
go.
last, you hold the
Happy
arcane
days.
orb that Lolth gave to Grulamith.
So yes, at the
You've
moment at
accomplished your
least,
mission
more
and
than
helped
happy with how
thwart the
things are
Spider
going.
Queen's plans. Though it's a
If I
dangerous
had it to
thing
do
draw
again,
the attention of an
I
angry
could
god.
and perhaps should have built it without the crowd control element, because it strikes me we're doing plenty enough, you know, just on the damage side with the spells. You've seen it in that, oh, have we not come out? You've seen it in that quest we've just done, you know, with the Thunderstroke and the Iceberg and the Acid Well and Tempest. There's plenty others I could have put, the Meteor, Storm, that kind of delayed blast fireball as well, depending on what you like to use. And I suppose it as well, it depends on how much you want to lean on the wizard side of it as opposed to the melee side. One of you mentioned you rarely even swing the sword, you know, towards the end. Such is the power of the spell side of things. So just like I bet it's just the special attacks, the Eldritch Strike and the Tempest that you're using, and little or nothing else of all that. Which is fine, that's another way to go. I've tried to emphasise a bit more the melee because that's kind of what we're supposed to be. Otherwise, we might as well have been just a wizard caster and gone through it like that. So yeah, if I had it to do again, I sincerely doubt we'll ever do another Eldritch Knight on this channel with purple, because it's kind of a one and done, this series. But if I had it to do again, I'd go all out for the melee side. You know, a bit of spell power for the imbues, but that would be it. And see how we could go on with that. Just pure damage, as opposed to doing some on the crowd control. I mean, there are some where I'm sure the crowd control will serve us very well. I can think of two in the Stormhorns, for instance, where if it's still working by that stage, the is it lines of supply, where they all come piling out of that cave mouth, and you've really got to have either big AoE damage and or crowd control to stand a chance of containing all that stuff. And then the one at the army camp, is it breaking the ranks? That's especially with the hill giants that start throwing you all over the floor. If you don't have an immunity to knockdown, that can be really interesting. So again, AoE holds and or damage dealing stuff would be key there. I'll be interested to see how we go on, in fact, in those. Might try and record one of them. Right, I think that's it for this episode. There's nothing... Oh, I might as well just show you this before we go. I say there's nothing new. There's no new gear or anything like that. I haven't rejigged anything significant on the epic side. We've still got most of our points invested in the Fate Singer. I did remove the rain. I was found that a bit underwhelming. Just works on a 20 on the dice roll, and it's not amazing, I don't think. So I removed that in favour of boosting the Dreadnought tree up to where I wanted it to be. So we've got the second core, more hit points, more melee power, more attack and damage, all very good. More hit points there. Now every time I activate an action boost, which I'm terrible, I'm just bloody terrible at remembering to trigger, but I need to remember, because that's at least one DC spells wise and at least one attack and damage. Now with these extra 3 to all ability scores when we hit an action boost. We've got the imbue dice, and an extra action boost there, so we should always be hitting these when going into a combat, and I'm not quite there with that. In fairness, there's quite a lot to remember with 3 separate action boosts, of which 2 can be going on at once. There's all these short-term buffs that can be running out. Well, let's call it 5, including that potion of Greater Inferno for the spell power. There's our little Radiant Force field. You saw it go off in the quest, but generally it's not because I press it, but because we've gone below 50% of our health, and there's an enhancement in the Eldritch Knight tree that gives you one of those automatically when you reach that state. So yeah, there's quite a bit to... and then you've got to remember the offensive tools in your armory, which are significant as well, and this is just the ones I've been using. The Finger of Death you did see in that quest, it's still working very nicely. AoE offense, I've got Acid Well and Tempest. We could just as easily have Delayed Blast, Fireball and Meteor Swarm. Meteor Swarm's nice for the double range, but this Tempest I particularly like, because you can throw it down and it's got several ticks, so you can have it ticking, you know, eating away at enemies all around you while you're in there fighting. It's like an extra tier of damage for wherever you're standing, so I do like that. And the single targets, the Iceberg and the Thunderstroke, very nice, both of them. The really frustrating thing, if you get an enemy archer or something with evasion and you cast these big money spells on them and they save and take 0 damage, that's frustrating. But on the flip side of that, they can get 1 shot if they fail to save. So right, I'd interrupted myself in here, hadn't I? So yes, we've taken all this good stuff, and then we've got into this 3rd tier 6% double shot, double strike rather, and that, as I mentioned in the past, one of you helpfully mentioned, also helps to double the imbue damage. So the more powerful the imbue gets and the more imbue dice we get, the more valuable that becomes. So that's nice to have. I've stopped in there for now, and I'm beginning to build up in here the draconic tree. We'll be taking some spell power, and maybe this, I don't know if any of you knows, this bypassing points of energy resistance with your spells, it says. For the purposes of that, does this spell sword count as a spell, this imbue, or not? I'd like to know that, because bypassing 15 and having 10 extra fire spell power would not be too bad. And of course ultimately we're working up towards the 3 imbue dice in there, and then if we can afford it, the 3 evocation DC, which will help a few of the tastier spells that I like to use in our rotation. Okay, I think that's pretty much it for now. Plans, obviously I'm going to short term finish the this Eveningstar 3 chain, and after that we will be doing the level 24 what's it called, High Road in Eveningstar, or just accessible from Eveningstar. And after that I guess it'll be time for Giant Hold. So that's what's in the pipeline. Now the Giant Hold, I really should man up and at least go for Reaper 2, because that's probably the softest epic content at level that we're going to find. So if we can't do Reaper 2 on that, we're not ever going to do it. So maybe you might see a Reaper 2 in Giant Hold for the episode 25, we'll see. Okay, I hope most of you good folks are doing better than me today. As I mentioned, my back's in a bit of a mess, which is annoying. For walking the dog, I'm sort of crabbing all over the field and not up to very much, so hopefully that will go soon. Otherwise, thanks very much as always for looking, and I will speak to you in the next one. Take care.